went out to get mail on the motorcycle because I was expecting some parts, which I have in that box, but there was another box. So this was a juggling episode to get this back in. And this one, somebody from, I believe it was Alabama. Yeah, Russell. And I opened it up thinking it was motorcycle parts. But no, it was, well, an assortment of stuff. Now, this is the guy that first sent me the Welch suspenders, which I really like. And I actually have, well, actually 2 spare pair on hand, though I haven't had to go into the spares. They just work really well. Now, this is from a different company, Better Spenders. But they're built very much like the Welch ones in that they're very stiff. You know, they got give, but not a lot. Because most, you know, they stretch out. But here we're dealing with the same sort of leather and the same sort of buckle adjustment as what the Welch have. And the little D-rings for attaching accessories. I think they're out of Oregon. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. You know, the other ones are just black. These are a little dressier, but look to be very well made. I'll have to give them a try. And there was a t-shirt from Better Spenders, and hey, look at that logo. That's a pretty catchy logo. Yeah, but they're, you know, it's like those Welch ones, so they're made for the working man. They're made tough. And there is a bottle cozy type of thing. I have to say, I don't use that sort of thing very much. I usually slug her down fast enough that I don't get a chance to get warm. Pickles, but they're actually pickles. They're not pickled, you know, turkey gizzard and this sort of strange. People down south eat food that has little deep fried peanuts. And they do strange things with peanuts. And fried okra. Doesn't seem like a thing a person would fry, but again. But this is interesting, and there's a long letter here saying he actually found this in a pile of junk beside the road. It's very similar to the Naugatuck, and I'm sure it uses the same wick as the Naugatuck, and the same chimney as the Naugatuck, but it's a B&H. These are a little different. The globe design, I'm not quite sure how they're, you know, normally the globe is suspended off. I have to look into that, see what's different about them. This is missing the wick, but like I say, I've got wicks. Very similar to a Naugatuck, though. Well, a lot of these are made by the same company, just a little different changes in the design. Usually small, like this, I can see is a little different. The flame spreader has got a kind of a washer thing in it, whereas normally they're a one-piece thing. And I think that should just pull off of there. Yeah. See, a little snug, but, and then this screws off and put a new wick in. I'll have to go at that. The plating You know, I'm sure it was originally nickel plated. You can see parts of where the nickel, they're usually brass with a nickel plate on them. But it is of the Central Draft design, which is a good design unless they leak. Uh, because, like I said, they're hollow inside. If that tube should develop a leak on the inside, then it'll leak kerosene down out of the bottom. But I'll fill her up and see if she doesn't leak. I'll slap a new wick in her. Getting to that time of year, I'm starting to use light more than normal. Yeah. Yeah, a whole bunch of directions. Oh yeah. This will maybe tell me, because like I say, that globe support on that is a little different than what I have seen. Now I've got two of the Naugatucks that have globe supports on them, but they really, you know, that design was around for a long time because it worked very well. And here I see we have, oh yeah. Squid in ink sauce. I wouldn't have thought the ink would be gluten-free. And giant calamari and sunflower oil. This looks like the kind of thing I will spring on the boys when they come up deer hunting. Get them a little drunk, feed them a little squid, and stand back. You know, they get daring, way more daring than I am. Red beans and rice. And dirty rice. Interesting in that it just says, you know, just add 1 pound of ground beef. It's kind of like a hamburger helper. It looks to me like that. They used to try to feed us this stuff they call Spanish rice when we were in school. And I used to complain about it. I can't say I'm picky. I have certain tastes, and I'd swear these people down south must not have taste buds at all. They must have burned them out. Because here, not only Spam, but Spam with jalapeno. But I don't know, you know, like I have tried all these different flavors of Spam. No matter what you do with it, it's still Spam. Spam is a good food. You know, and keeps forever. I've seen people eating Spam from World War II. And just for the hell of it, he threw in some Slim Jims. Corned beef hash, that's a good thing to have on hand. You got a few of them. But they're great for a quick meal. And again, keep forever. So, the hot sauce. Well, that's interesting. It's got a wooden stopper on it. Yeah, that calamari, that's going to be interesting. America's favorite potted meat. Made with chicken, pork added. One of them things. Must be a sticker. A Sasquatch believer. Smoked oysters. Another one of them weird, you know, that I shun. Honey. I do like honey now and again. It's a good thing to have on hand. And this is one of them things that keeps forever, too. And I got, there's people around here with beehives all over the place. But it's funny, sometimes you go in and you look at it and you think, ooh, they can charge a lot for it, depending on where. Do not feed to infants under 1 year of age. I wonder why that is. You would think they could eat honey? I hadn't run across that before. I think that would be a good kid food. Yeah, but the squid. I find critters like an octopus to be a very interesting animal. I don't know that we should be eating them. They're like what I expect aliens would look like if such a thing was to come about. It's interesting if you watch shows with octopuses. Very calculating, very intelligent animal. Like they say, trying to keep them in like a aquarium or something. They will find a way out and slither down a drain. They will make an escape. They are a very smart animal. Yeah, I like this t-shirt. That's half the battle. If you get a good logo, that's half your battle. They thought that out very well. And it looks to be, like I say, very similar to the Welch design. I'll have to look them up and see how available they are. But like I say, I've got, I like them Welch ones, and I've got spares of them. But it's good to see companies making good, durable goods that aren't just a fashion accessory like a lot of suspenders are. A statement kind of thing. See, here is what I like to see when they actually use a quality buckle that has the roller on it. A lot of companies don't go that far. Ooh, I like that they got strength to them. Well, now I go back to work on the motorcycle. I am reinventing again. I'm putting in, I got to make aluminum plates for side covers. And there's a slight taper to them. They're triangle shaped and they've got to be bent in a little. So I have to make tabs. I'll probably use this cardboard box to make my template. But I have to weld tabs on the frame so I can use some of these Zeus quarter turn fasteners. So that's a project for today. But thanks to Russell, I have interesting goods there. But the lamp, that's a treat. It'll be interesting to see. I'll have to dump kerosene in it and make sure it don't leak. But I've always thought on some of them, once in a while, they're kind of delicate. This has been banged a little here. That should be okay. Where you'll find leaks on these can happen in that, their central draft, it's a hollow tube that goes up. And if that solder lets go on that tube, that's a problem. There are people who are actually set up to do it, to fix them, but it's very expensive. But this whole affair, this is different. Normally they're out straight. They don't go up like this. I'm going to have to see. They might use a different type of globe. Because in Agatux, it just comes out. But I'm sure that's a standard chimney size, and I'm sure that's the same wick as the other ones use, as long as the gears aren't stripped out, which can happen. But I have experience fixing them. It's just a little different from a Naugatuck. Yeah. Well, this got tore open, but I don't think that hurt them any. Yeah, I don't understand why people who would think to fry okra. Well, who would think to do the things they do with peanuts? Only Southerners. Well, this is an interesting. This is what I'm going to be running for sprockets on this. I have to run a 520 chain because I need to run. I need to get the gear ratios up as high as I can. I can't run a 530 and run an 18-tooth sprocket. There isn't enough clearance in the front. I can do it with a 520 as long as I use a non-O-ring chain, which is what this is. Because an O-ring chain is actually a lot fatter chain. So I think I can make that work. Well, I know I can make it work because I actually put that sprocket setup, including the, you have to change this spacer that goes behind the sprocket. It's a different one for the SR. The SR is closer in. By putting the XT one on there, I can make that work. I put that setup on my street SR and took it out for a run, and I like the ratios that I get. You know, your first gear is up a little high, or higher than normal, but it gets you that where, you know, you're going 60 miles an hour, and then you realize, I have a whole nother gear, you know, and that's what I needed. It was a great gain. There was a lot of monkeying around to change sprockets on both front and rear and run a different chain, but it was the only way I could make sure that's what I wanted to go that way, and that is the way. But like I say, O-ring chain will not work. It's too fat. There isn't enough clearance. You start running into there's like an oil passage there, and there is a clutch arm that goes down there. O-ring chain is fat enough where it hits that. I could machine some of that out to give me a little clearance, but it's not that important for me to run that O-ring chain. But you run in a lot of bikes, actually, even if you switch, if they weren't designed for an O-ring chain and you switch to an O-ring chain, you can run into problems with clearance on like your swing arm or on the chain guard. They're fatter, quite a little fatter to get them O-rings in there. I got work to do, but thanks to Russell, then I will test drive these suspenders and see if they live up to the Welch level, because them Welch ones really impressed me, and that's where he had sent me that first pair of them.